Once upon a time, there was a kingdom ruled by a brave and clever king. The king was loved by his people because he was wise and fair. He always listened to the problems of the people and tried to help them in every way possible. One day, while sitting in the palace court, the king was listening to the problems of his people. Many people came to him with their concerns, and the king tried to solve each one. At that time, a minister came to the king with a problem of his own. The minister said to the king, "My business is very small, but I am losing too much money." He explained, "I hired 3 clever and trusted men to work for me. They are well trained. But still, my business is not improving." The minister asked the king for advice, hoping to find a solution. The king thought for a moment, and then he said, "Bring me your 3 men tomorrow. I will give you a solution and a special gift tomorrow." The minister was surprised by the king's words but agreed to bring the men the next day. He left the court feeling hopeful about what the king might do for him. The next day, the minister brought the 3 men to the king's court. The king looked at the 3 men carefully. He observed their actions and behavior. After a while, the king gave each man a cart with an ox and a big bag. The king said, "Your task is to visit the kingdom's vegetable gardens. You must fill your bags with the best and freshest vegetables you can find. You have only half a day to complete this task." The 3 men were excited but also a little nervous. They had no idea what the king was planning. The first man was determined to do his best. He worked hard, carefully selecting the freshest and cleanest vegetables from the garden. He wanted to impress the king and prove that he was a hard-working and honest person. The second man, however, was not as hard-working. He thought to himself, "The king won't check the vegetables carefully. Why should I work so hard to find the best vegetables? I can save time and still look like I did my job." So, he filled his bag with both fresh and spoiled vegetables. The third man had another idea. He thought, "The king will only check the size of the bag, not the quality of the vegetables inside. Why should I spend time finding good vegetables when I can fill my bag quickly with leaves and plants?" So, he filled his bag with nothing but leaves and plants, thinking this would be enough to complete the task. At the end of the day, the 3 men returned to the king's court. They stood before the king with their bags, but the king did not open any of the bags. Instead, he gave an unexpected order to his soldiers. He said, "Arrest these 3 men and lock them in separate rooms for 20 days. The king continued, "They will not receive any food during this time. They must survive only on the contents of their bags." The 3 men were shocked by this order. They had no idea what the king was planning, but they had no choice but to follow his commands. The soldiers locked them in separate rooms with their bags. The first man, who had collected fresh vegetables, had no trouble. He ate the vegetables every day and stayed healthy. He was able to spend the 20 days without any worries, enjoying the fresh food he had worked so hard to collect. The second man, who had collected spoiled vegetables, faced many problems. He tried to eat the rotten vegetables, but they made him feel sick. He was not able to stay healthy, and after a few days, his condition worsened. Finally, he could not survive the full 20 days and passed away. The third man, who had only leaves and plants in his bag, had nothing to eat. He felt very hungry and weak. He tried to eat the leaves, but they didn't fill him up. Soon, he was too weak to survive and died in the prison. Before his death, the third man thought deeply about his actions. He realized that his laziness and dishonesty had led to his suffering. He had chosen the easy way out, and it had cost him his life. This story reminds us that every decision we make today has a consequence for tomorrow. Work hard, be honest, and avoid shortcuts. Hard work may not always seem easy, but it will bring long-term rewards. On the other hand, laziness and dishonesty may seem like easy solutions, but they only lead to regret and failure in the end.